Hey guys, this is Mugatu, and today I have the Zeiss Ikon WSW exteriors part. So this high security lock has 6 pins on the top. You have two sidebars, one on the right, one on the left side. The left side has 5 sliders, and the other side will have 2, one at the beginning and the end. Kind of a massive key, and my daughter does not want to sleep right now, but she is very tired, so excuse me for the sound. I need to use 2 tensioner for this block because I will need the center part to tension and pick the top side, which binds first, and once that is picked I need to swap to a thicker bar and go for the sliders instead. So usually 6, nothing, click out of 5, 4, nothing, 3, 2, 1 is binding, click, back the rear, click out of 6, 5 is still good, nothing, oh, small click out of 4, nothing on 3, 2, up, and we got ourselves some core rotation. I'm just gonna make sure they really are set, because I've noticed something special. There are spools on the top pins, and you can pick all 5 of the pins and have a 6th one stuck in the spool section. That will prevent the sidebar from binding correctly. So you could just go ahead and start picking at the sidebar and just find out at some point that there's nothing binding anymore, and you've got a spool at the top. There's one here. Drop 1. 2, 3. Set, but it dropped 1 again. 3, 2. Alright. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just gonna check 6. I'm using a Southern Max. I think those are like 30,000 thick, because it's kind of awkward to find those tiny pins. I'll show you when gutting. We're going to swap tensioner. Alright, that's it for this one. I'm using a broken pick that I filed into a tiny notch, very thin. I use it for premise fingers. It also helps lift those sliders because they are very near the bottom of the warding. I'm gonna get the 5th one at the rear. Just a tiny click. Another click here. Up. Alright. Check the rear again. They both wiggle a bit, so that should mean we can start on the left side. I'm gonna swap to a Huck dimple flag that I filed down, similar to the multi-pick number 10 format. Slider 2 needs quite some lifting, gotta pass the false gates. Then number 3 should bind a bit. It does, but I dropped number 2. Bring back 2. Right. Number 4 is binding now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one is a max lift, but it's awkward at the rear. Just want to make sure I'm not lifting the fourth one. Just gotta check everybody needs a little nudge. Sometimes that's just what's preventing. Oh, and there we are. So what would have happened if I still had one of the spool on the top unset is that I could pick slider 1, 2, and 3, but then the fourth and fifth one would not bind. It was an impossible game until you finally go back to the top and pick it, and then whoop. Here we go, senor. Now let's keep this in frame and show you what is inside here. So as you can see, it is well picked. I'm gonna lock it back up. There's a C-clip at the rear. Those are not my favorite. Come on. Just gotta place it right. Come on. There we go. Lift to the corner, that should be good. Don't break. Come on. Off. Don't want to break it either. I'm going to need it afterwards. Alright. Come on. Alright, there we go. Wasn't very elegant, but did the job. And I will shim the top to minimize potential accidents. Oh, it's gonna do. It didn't do. So I'll probably have a top pin that will fall in the keyway. Not just one. There's a second one. Alright, that's not so bad. So as you can see here, we have 6 pins on top. If the focus could come to life. Alright, we have sidebar here, and as you can badly see, there we go. 2 sliders on one side and 5 on the other. Alright, we'll keep the key in, take out the sidebar first. Tiny springs. Oh. Take a moment to show you the sidebar. It has this tiny lip at the bottom. That's what that is what interacts with the sliders. So it's similar to an ASA twin sidebar, but the bitting is in the sliders and not in the sidebar. Alright, let's go for the top pins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. What's special with these pins is the format they use. The nub is the only thing you're interacting with. The rest is hidden in the lock body, so they are pretty small. That's why I use this fat short hook to deal with them. And now this would be... Alright, so that's pin 1, which is a steel anti-drill. You've got pin 2, which is a spool. Pin 3 is also a spool. The one I had to set at the beginning that dropped the first one. Pin 4 is also a spool. Spring flight off. Spring. I've got my five standard, and 6th is also standard. Yep. Drop the springs. And these things are small. And for the fun part, the sliders. Those are very fun to reinsert. We'll take the time to show you at least one. So as you can see, we have a true gate that has a significant depth. We have the false gates that will act like scratching while they catch on, but not in the most terrifying way. The worst they'll do is they'll drop previously set slider, so you can often end up with a game of ping pong. It's worth noting that the nub that you manipulate can have 2 positions. I've seen a few different ones in my lock. This is slider 1 on the left side. As you can see here, this one is facing the keyway, facing, and this one is reversed to the keyway, so probably for master keying or such. And I will not be taking all of these out because it's really not fun to put back in. And the essential I wanted to show you is there. Just give you a close-up of those pins. So you have the key pins, which are these tiny nubs that you manipulate. The top row, which can be trivial, but as I mentioned, if you keep a spooled section interacting with the sidebars, you can start playing with the sliders for a long time before understanding what's happening. Plug. Try to show you the keyway without dropping everything. The 2 grooves in the center are the warding. That's what I use to tension, and the sliders are resting right on the bottom of there. So when you have 2 nibs facing each other, you have very little space left to maneuver. And one of these sliders, like I mentioned, the others will be similar. It's just that the true gate will be higher or lower, determining the bidding on your superb key. So that was the Zeiss Ikon WSW. I hope you enjoyed this and gave you any insight. If you want to try it, I recommend it. It's a fun lock. It's a hard lock, but not an impossible one. So have a great day, guys.